What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk to you about SoundHound. I want to go over some of the data points, break it down what's moving it, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So SoundHound is up a very impressive 9.95%, 892 the low, 958 the high. And you are seeing relatively good volume, so 23.3 million shares being traded within the first 2 hours of the trading day. So most likely by the end of the day, it'll be roughly around the average of 45. But what came out this morning was CPI. And I think the best case scenario actually did play out. So if we kind of look at the data, so on a month over month and also year over year basis, it came in a little bit lower. So of course, fairly good stuff. So it came in at 2.8 versus 2.9 the forecast. So going into this CPI data, if it was going to be significantly lower, which a lot of people were really wanting, that would have really signaled that consumers aren't really buying. But with it coming in a slightly lower than the forecast of 2.9, this does show that the first time in, I think, was the last 4 reports that that inflation is going down. So definitely, I think it couldn't have gone better than this. And even if we do look at the true data behind the scenes, energy did go up, meaning the other basket items did go down. So you are seeing essentially FOMO kicking in the broader market. Today, there's no news, no SEC filings associated to SoundHound. Rather, it's just the market is moving it. And shorts kind of are, for the first time in a while, returning a lot. So they are returning 209,000 shares. 32.61% of the free float is being shorted, and that works out to be 116.84 million shares. I'm sure some of you might be wondering, what the hell? How did it jump up to 32.61%? Good question. And ultimately, it is right here. So 2 times per month, the NASDAQ does disclose the true amount of shares being shorted. So the report that came out yesterday, it is delayed. So it shows as of February the 28th, there was 119.72 million shares overall being shorted. And that works out to be 36.4% of the free float. So meaning between February the 14th and 28th, shorts did increase roughly around 19 additional million shares that we didn't really know of. So during that time period, that's obviously why it did get suppressed. So if we kind of look back over here, so from February the 14th right here up until the end, so this obviously downtrend where it kind of hit a low of, was it $8.87, that most likely was attributed by shorts. But nonetheless, with today's data, they are returning, so always a good thing to see that. So like I said, returning 209,000 shares. Moving over to options, you're seeing 1.54 million in calls, 1.32 in puts. 46% of all the options being done today are bearish in nature. And some of that could be just longs hedging, just in case maybe there is a potential pullback. So there might be some of that occurring, but nonetheless, a good amount of volume so far, 3.8 million in total premiums. 4.5 yesterday, so most likely we'll settle roughly around that 6 today. And of the call options that are being purchased, you see a consensus for it to be roughly around that 10 to 1050 by this Friday. Then the bears are anticipating for it to be sub 750. I don't know whether that was purchased essentially when SoundHound was pulling back right here. Maybe they were anticipating a broader pullback, but market seems to be really digesting the CPI data and absolutely loving it. So again, something to kind of keep in mind. These are all the transactions occurring on the secondary market above $100,000. So you're not really seeing that much buying on the secondary market, meaning the big attributing factor why SoundHound is moving higher is because of algorithmic trading. And these are all the transactions occurring on the dark pool. Dark pool is often enough linked to shorting and other large institutions and whatever else. So a lot of big buys going on here. Even after hours, you see 2 transactions, and one was for 5.2 million. The other one was 2.34 million. It's as though someone knew maybe this data was going to be good. This is why you did see a buy. So kind of a good, interesting snippet for that. But with it at $9.41, trading between this pivot and this S1. So it was able to successfully get and stay above this 887 today. So 892 was a low. $11.97 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. No new analyst ratings, nothing like that. Before I get into the actual chart, there's one thing I do want to bring up, is because there's been a lot of this type of news. Lawsuit, and a lot of people, a lot of the bears are bringing up that SoundHound's going to go bankrupt because of that. I think just a lot of those individuals don't really know the basis of all of this. A lot of these are just ambulance chasers. What they are doing, if you actually read it, they are looking for people. And even if it states right there that someone wants to be a lead plaintiff, like propose to the obviously law firm and blah blah blah. So they don't even have a lead plaintiff. They don't really have much. They have speculative topics that they want to potentially go after the company about, but none of this, in my opinion, is really going to amount to anything. So it is comical to kind of see the bears saying that a lot of these lawsuits are going to bring SoundHound down. I think those just people do not know how to invest or what any of this does mean. So I'm not really worried about that one bit. But on the actual chart itself, right now it was able to get above that ALMA. So that is sitting at $9.10. So that blue line right there. Next strong kind of points to really watch for is this 100-day moving average at 1188. And then as well above that, you have that 50-day moving average at 1382. And if SoundHound is able to get above this, though, the super trend, which currently is sitting at looks like roughly around $12 and change, that is where you'll see a huge change in the actual trend for SoundHound, and that's where things will start going higher. You'll have algorithmic trading really buying up SoundHound on a consistent basis, not just because of macro news, but rather because of the company itself. So like I said, I think just a lot of people disregarded SoundHound for a while now, but because of this recent CPI, people's appetite for risk is now back on the table, so they're buying SoundHound. So let me know your viewpoint on that. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up, give yourself a shout out if you've been buying, if you've been selling, what's your general thoughts as well on shorts. So 32.61%, even though they are returning a little bit today, I still see that as way too high for a company that has no debt and a lot of good upside in the future. So let me know your kind of thoughts on all that. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon where I give buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. Many of them have been absolutely on point and bangers. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.